Welcome to When Life Gets Strange, tips for loving your perfectly imperfect military and everyday life. Let me introduce you to my wife and your host, Maria Strange. We have been married for over 20 years, over 17 years in the Army, and she is the mother to our 6 children, and we are members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As a certified life coach, Maria's goal is to help you thrive and love your perfectly imperfect military and everyday life. Are you ready?
Hello, ladies, and welcome back to When Life Gets Strange, episode 34. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about guilt. But first, I just wanted to say, how was your Thanksgiving? We had a great Thanksgiving. My son and husband cut the spine out of our turkey, and it made it cook like way faster, like in an hour and a half, because we had stuffing on the bottom instead of in the traditional 3 to 4 hours. So that was kind of interesting. I can't remember what it's called. And then we had all the usual sweet potatoes, gravy, homemade rolls, different pies. Yeah, so it was just a really great day. We spent time hanging out. And then I got to finish sewing my daughter's dress for our son's wedding in December in a couple of weeks. She's going to also use it as her angel costume for a community play that she's in a couple of weeks. So that was really kind of nice and exciting to be able to check that off my list. So if you're liking this podcast and you know other military wives who would enjoy this, please share it with them. Let them know what you find helpful. Let me know what you find helpful, or if there's anything else that you would like me to talk about, because I'm here to help you. So on the topic of guilt, according to Psychology Today, guilt is defined as an adverse and, like shame and embarrassment or pride, has been described as a self-conscious emotion involving reflection on oneself. People may feel guilt for a variety of reasons, including acts they have committed or think that they committed, a failure to do something they should have done, or thoughts that they think are morally wrong. So I came up with this long list of reasons why, as military wives, we could feel guilty, or moms. My kids don't get enough time with dad. They spend too much time on screens. I spend too much time on screen. I didn't let them on screens, and now they're throwing a fit. They miss out on things because we move around so much. They eat too much junk food. I'm not good at making them eat healthy. I lose my temper. They aren't getting the mom they deserve. I need to support my husband better during deployments. I should have been there more for my children during deployments. My little kids take time away from my big kids. There's moms who are way more fun than me. There are wives who send better care packages. If I had done a better job parenting, my older children wouldn't be making choices that I don't agree with. We move too much. I forgot about a party or dance practice or voice lessons. I did that just this week on Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving. And my daughter's voice instructor sent me a message asking me if she was coming. And I was like, totally, she will be there. And then I got busy and I forgot, and I felt guilty about it. Not being consistent, not spending enough time with your husband or with your children, not making sure that your children get enough time with your spouse, with your husband, or that they don't do things together. Their kids are crying when you go out on dates. The house is not as clean as your husband would like. It's not as clean as you want. How you chose to spend your time. You read a book instead of cleaning. Can you see that the list of things that we feel guilty about can just goes on and on? So why do we feel guilty, guys? Why? Well, I came up with 3 reasons. The first one is because we love our husband and kids fiercely. We love them. That's it. We just love them. And so we feel guilty when we don't do the things that we think we should for them. Number 2, what they experience is closely aligned with us. When they feel hurt, when they're sad, when they're happy, we kind of mirror those emotions, and that's totally okay. It's what our brains do. And the third one is because being a wife and a mom, it's the hardest and yet the most fulfilling job that we'll ever do. Can you see why it's so easy to feel guilty? Now, as you know, in coaching, I use the CTFAR model. And you can learn more about that in episode 4 if you don't remember. It's totally fine. But in that model, Guilt goes in the feeling line. So it doesn't come from the things that we are doing or not doing. It comes from what we are thinking. So going back to that definition of guilt earlier, it comes from thinking we should have or should not have done something. Now, can you see how that could be a problem? If we're thinking, I should have done this and I shouldn't have done that, I have a saying that you should never should on yourself. It just doesn't benefit you or anyone else. Now, the problem with that is that guilt, it does not motivate us to make long-term changes. When we feel guilty, it usually turns into the shame or the blame game. We're looking for somebody else to blame. It becomes our husband's fault. It becomes the military's fault. Our children, we're so tired. We're overwhelmed. It can also lead to buffering with eating chocolate, scrolling social media, spending money on things that we don't need to, or any other number of things that we spend our time on that we don't really want to. Now, one of the ways that I have learned to let go of guilt is the work that I have done through coaching on learning to love myself more. Because as I have learned to love myself more, I know that the best gift I can give to my husband and my children is a wife and a mom who takes care of herself and allows herself to feel all the emotions without judgment. So loving yourself, it doesn't mean that you're happy all the time. It doesn't mean when your husband is deployed that you're not sad or have days where you just want to curl up with a good book or binge watch TV. That's all okay, because maybe that's how you take care of yourself in that moment. Or maybe you have your children have cold cereal for dinner one night. That's all okay. But when you're learning to love and to take care of yourself, it allows you to stop trying to be perfect all the time and to just show up as the best you in the moment. And what more could they ask for than the very best you in the moment? It allows you to show up with love and grace for you, for your husband, and your children. And this doesn't happen by trying to control how others think of us, but by allowing them to think what they want and recognizing that they're going to have negative and positive thoughts of us. And that's all okay. And we do this by focusing on how much we love our husbands, how much we love our children, how much we love ourselves. And when you love yourself, it's okay to fall short of the person you want to be, because you're learning and you're growing and you're working on becoming the next version of yourself, a better version. You're working on not yelling at your kids so much, or you're working on having a schedule that works for your family. And maybe that means some days are really scheduled and other days are really relaxed, and it's all okay. So what if we just took the word guilt out of our vocabulary and instead said, I'm learning, I'm trying, I'm doing the best that I know how. I'm doing the best that I can in this moment with the resources that I have. Then when something doesn't go the way we want, we can take note of that and we can use that to learn and to grow and to help us improve ourselves. Because in the end, it doesn't matter really what we do, because our husbands and our children, they get to tell the story about their relationship with us, just as we get to tell the story about our relationship with them. And that story is going to be both good thoughts and negative thoughts. And I wish mom had done this, or I wish my wife had done this, or she did this really good. Did you know I really love that she did this for me? And it's all okay, because we get to tell the story about our relationship with others too. And hopefully our children and husband, as we take the time to learn and grow and love ourselves more, they'll see that example and they'll start to do it too. Now, I would love to help you let go of guilt. I would love to help you learn to love yourself just a little bit more, because when you learn to do that, everything in your life changes. Every relationship you have will get better. Everything will start to improve just a little bit. So get started now by signing up for a free consult by going to mariastrangecoaching.com/work with me. And as always, I'll see you next week. And thanks so much for being here. Bye.